Did everybody have a chance to, read the minutes and the agenda? Okay, roll call, let's see,
Rosanna here.
okay,
Daryl's here.
okay.
Marty's here.
I'm here, Marilyn's here,
Fantastic.
and who do we have, present on? Let's see, we have 3 people here for public comment or visiting. And how many people do we have? We have Don Williams and who's G?
Probably
Gina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, since everybody's had a chance to read the minutes, anybody want a motion to approve them or?
We need to do the meeting agenda first.
Oh, that's what I meant, yeah, agenda, meeting agenda. Anybody wanna, motion to accept the meeting agenda?
I'm whether we accept the meeting agenda as printed.
Second.
Okay,
I'd like to interject that I do have some new business that I'd like
Okay.
to present when the time comes and a little bit of old business to follow up with Sarah
Okay.
Logan. Yeah.
so accepted with that added on. How about the minutes and be? Everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Looks good.
Okay. We'll approve the minutes.
Everything is appropriate. Thank you.
Okay. Public communications, we have 3 minutes. We have, anybody have anything they'd like to say? Welcome, everybody.
Nothing here. Good morning.
Good morning. Anybody else have anything? Okay. A station report. Yes, that's you.
As of last meeting, we said we had the new board, it's now installed, we had a lot of bugs we were working out on it, since it's totally new and quite a bit bigger than our old board, like about 3 times as big, but, we got pretty much, why did we get the bugs kind of, pretty much, yeah. We got a few things we're gonna add to it. One, yeah, there,
Question, how much does the new board cost?
$4,000.
Oh, really?
The, you lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on here a second.
You're having some new things to do.
Oh, couple things that, we're looking at is getting a turntable for the new board. So we can have like vinyl hour and stuff like that. Cause we can now absolutely stream one program on the stream and actually do a separate one over the air. The way it's set up, it's very easy, just an external hard drive for the auxiliary, computer. And pretty much we can then do a playlist, whatever kind of program we want for the stream. And then we can do a different program over the air. Okay. Also, we're looking at getting a new computer for the production room to move the old production computer over where the volunteer computer is now. And then we have that new laptop we can use for other areas. Is right now our remotes we're using like these laptops are pretty old that we're using they're all old used ones that we've had. We've gone through about 3 of them now. We're on our 4th one that we've been using for remotes, so. And, we lost one DJ. Joan had to move back to Shoreland, I think it is, yeah. So she, we had that opening. Plus we had a guy named Sean that applied, but, then decided later that he wanted to wait for a while. He said he had other things going on. And we do have one in pending right now she works down at Red Genie. And, she's showed us some interest to want to come on. And she likes nights because she works till 9 o'clock at night. So she'd be one of those DJs we could put on like at 9:30 or so at night and do a night. So that works pretty good. We are just waiting now for a piece of equipment from CBS News. And we'll be able to do CBS News at the top of the hour. Plus, they have other programs that we can install in, like Face the Nation and things like that. So we can really up our programming in the news department.
Could I interject
Yeah.
real quick? Another area that is, we've already talked about it a little bit, but can talk about it briefly during some of the, radio board meetings. We need to really get focused on our, public service content. And, we have a filing that's going to be due on April 10th. It's a quarterly report that gets submitted to the FCC and gets posted on our, what's called the online public file with the FCC. And basically, it's a repository where members of the public or anyone can go look and see what activities the station has been doing to address community needs. And just real specifically, all non-commercial FM station, AM, FM, blah, 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 must prepare and upload their online public inspection files with the important issues facing the communities and the programs that have been aired during the months of January, February, March, in this case, that are dealing with those issues. So I know that Trey has been digging into the reports that are generated by the automation system. One of the areas that I need to talk with Sarah Logan about is accessing the online public file. Find out who at the city has that access now. And perhaps through, although I don't think it's directly through the council, it wouldn't be. But we would need to upload these files. So I'll get back with Trey then, because I think he's spearheading that. But I just kind of wanted to just make sure everybody was aware. This is a required commitment of the station to addressing community needs. And so we'll probably be focusing on things like youth matters, drug addiction, whatever other community concerns have kind of percolated over the last 3 months. And then this happens throughout the year. I know that actually, I heard on one of the newscasts some time ago that the Grace Harbor County has an organization that almost specifically addresses these things throughout Grace Harbor County. And they have a report that they generate as far as what the community needs have been identified. And so if we can get a copy of that report, we can then kind of have it be a smooth transition into what the station needs to be presenting over the air to inform the community of what resources are available. I know we do a pretty good job of it now, but I think that it's one of those areas that we're going to need to refocus the energies on. And so I think I'll just leave it at that. But I just want to make sure that Trey is in the loop on following up on that, because the timing is coming close.
Is this something like just mentioning the things like on the morning show, or do they want to have a full up, in-depth, like a show that deals with community things every week?
Well, but it doesn't have to be every week. It just has to be periodically through a quarter to address particular issues. So, I mean, it would certainly never hurt if we could develop a lineup that says, you know, here is a hot topic that's important to the citizens in the community, and particularly in Ocean Shores or North Beach area, education challenges, water problems, whatever it might be, that we could insert that into the lineup of programs, and that would be great. But the morning shows, Tom's interviews with people, everything from the Master Gardener to the people from education, and I'm not sure if does he interview folks that are involved in like Other community matters? That may be something that,
Yeah.
I'm sure he
it's
does,
off
it's
and
probably
on.
something that'll come up
Yeah.
as trade runs down through the law.
We do the mayor, the city administrator, and, Sarah all come on. And I'm really gonna, hopefully I'll get to talk to the city council people when they offline, just,
Yeah,
off the record, I guess you would call it, to reassure them that they all have an open invitation to come in and talk on our morning shows. So far, nobody ever really takes advantage of that, and so that would really go a long way
Yes,
to
it would.
address it, because, you know, there's different opinions on the city council. It'd be nice to get the different opinions that come on the radio station instead of just the mayor, the city clerk, and the.
Right. Occasionally,
Occasionally,
one or the other.
or the other ones, or they come in once a month, twice a month, or we, whatever it is.
Would you like me to invite them tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna go, before the meeting, I'm gonna go up and talk to them and say, you know,
Okay.
you guys have an open invitation to come on at KOSW, just let us know.
Okay,
Okay?
well, I will
I'll get my-
reiterate that.
Yeah, reiterate it so it gets out into the public more too, just. after
As we
you've
know,
had a
you have to
chance
say
to-
things 5 times in
Yeah.
order for it to take, so.
Yeah, well, that open invitation's been there ever since I've been there, and it's never really been used that much. Very seldom we get city council people.
Well, the closest we got, I think, was the station identification.
Yeah, that really went a long way.
We still hear it once in a while.
Yeah, you see or hear their voice, yeah.
Is this something maybe we could do a search instead of looking, in addition to looking for new disc jockeys, but to put a search out for some community person to take this on for a half an hour show?
I had to think about it. It's not been, normally when we brought somebody on, it had to either be from an organization or government or some kind of official business, not just people off the street to come and bitch about something.
Not to bitch, but to be a host of the show. So get someone
You
that,
know, I've been talking about trying to get a public affairs show, right? But
Yeah.
getting the right people to come in and wanna do it.
Yeah.
On a regular basis is not easy to do.
I know,
It's
yeah.
hard, yes.
If I can interject, things like the defenders of the coast that are doing the litter cleanup, beautification.
Right.
I would like something mentioned, hopefully it's done through the police department or city clerk too, but getting they're having with the kennel and dogs and animals in the area, but Defenders of the Coast, I think, would be a new one, and I know he's been on once. I forget who he was on with, but just to talk about the litter cleanup or what they're doing, the pocket park's another one that they're gonna be doing the beginning of April, so. I can put you in touch with the one that's been spearheading all of that, maybe to have him come on a regular
Well,
basis.
Nikki's been on several times talking
Yeah.
about different police issues, and so is the fire chief once in a while, or their PO, or whatever. But yeah, we need more of that, all right?
Well, and the town meetings is a great way to.
I asked Sarah, I says, do you want us to do this town meetings? She says, no, I don't need to. So
We should be doing
doing it. We usually get money for doing city council meetings and retreats and that, but there won't be any money in the town council
Oh,
for broadcasting.
town meetings.
I mean, for the town hall.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll find one of our members that would volunteer for something like that.
Well, there's only one person there volunteered, glad you're looking at him.
How, do we know, are they on a regular basis?
Yeah, they're out the Wednesday after the city council meeting.
Ah.
It's a once a month or twice a month.
Once a month for
Once a
the
month.
town hall, and then what they're doing now is that they had reserved 2 slots. So what they're doing now is they will have a town hall, and then they will be starting in April a council chat. To where you can chat with council and just have conversations with council, so.
Okay. Is that like the same time, like the week
Yeah, it
after
will
the day?
be,
It's
yeah.
like only, so every other week after every city council meeting, there will be either a chat or a town hall.
That is the plan.
Well, that'll take some adjusting to do.
I'd like to see a push to ask for some citizen volunteers to do that show. And maybe someone could come out and woodwork. Yeah, I'd like to do a public affairs show on a regular basis to make a commitment. Wouldn't have to be live, you could even tape record it, and then they could be at their convenience.
It would be nice if it was recorded, that we can listen to it ahead of time, to make sure that,
That's all it would take. It doesn't have to be live.
Right.
We just want to be able to present the
right,
communication to the community and the community's voice of what their concerns are.
The boy, I think, would take care of your FCC requirement, yes,
Yes.
because it just bounces around, it's all kinds of stuff, and
Mhm.
decent interviewer that's got some kind of experience,
Mhm.
almost just, see what's out there.
And then as far as the actual filing goes, that goes into the public file, it's just a one paragraph abbreviation of what the situation was that was.
I mean, we
discussed.
have shows now, but we need more.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it isn't like we totally avoided it, we have science shows, we have a lot of different shows that we do. Background.
Tsunami warning.
Tsunami warning.
Discussions.
We've had, Cecilia from the Master Gardener, okay, she comes in once a month, and I'm talking to her, trying to convince her to do a recording. Maybe it could be once a week, kind of a podcast, talking about home remedies for different things for your plants and your gardening. That's an educational thing, but it's just on the other side of the spectrum is what we were talking about. Yeah. Getting people, volunteers to do it is, to do it consistent. Everybody's a great idea to start with, but if you're gonna do a weekly show, I mean, that's a lot of commitment.
That's something that she could announce at the city council meeting tonight, to say, to throw an idea out there and see if anybody responds back to her, and see if that's, agreeable, maybe, because they've got some political types that go to these meetings, that's watching all the time.
I just wanna be careful, I like to have good conversations and discussions, and not people come up there and just bitch about something, right?
So I've mentioned this to you before, Butch, but the other reports is something that I would like to see all the boards and committees do. And so you could do your radio board as a report and bring that up tonight at the council meeting also. That this is what you guys are looking for. And just add it again with the Defenders of the Coast, that's one thing I keep bringing them up, because the volunteer base, that group keeps growing and growing, and the reason they keep growing is because they're doing so many different things that you may not wanna go pick up garbage, but you may wanna go plant flowers, but you may wanna help here. And this just might be where you can grab from that pool of volunteers, but I strongly encourage you to do another reports or even do public comment, but other reports you can also do for the radio board and say, hey, this is, we're looking for some.
Maybe on the next agenda, it's kinda late to get on the agenda now, but I can maybe on the next one, get a report. I like to get response back from the city council when I'm talking, when you're doing a 3-minute thing, there's no response back, right? So there's no questions being asked.
Right, but you qualify for doing a report.
Right.
I mean, like the library is doing now, because the library used to do the 3 minutes. And it was the same thing, with so many programs going on, they couldn't get it done in 3 minutes. But, I know, the mayor is encouraging for all of the committees to do staff reports, in essence.
Well, if we could get some of those and either, if they're written and read them on air, some of the reports from other freshwaters, all the other volunteer groups that are around, and I know you do the interpretive center, there's an individual who comes up.
Yeah, we do the library, we do the interpretive center. The two main ones that come on all the time. And we need, I don't mind having the Master Gardener, but we need some more substance.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, give me some time, Marty can help me write something up. It's too early, I don't have anything ready for tonight, but
Okay.
on the next one, I'll talk to Sarah, get us on the agenda to talk about getting some volunteer support at the radio station for different things.
Would it count if you, had like the highlights of it, you gave just a few minute highlights of these different committees, when they met, and then tell them that where they can find it, the whole thing, without.
Oh, on the air, you
Yeah,
mean?
without-
Oh, yeah, sure, you could
without
say,
doing the whole-
here's some things that went on in Freshwaters, or
Right.
at the library this week. If you'd like to hear more about it, go to this recording of the interview or of the
unfortunately, yesterday, Tommy wasn't there, so we had Jerry filling in. Jerry forgot to record the mayor. And Frank, and it's a pet peeve with Frank, because when he was running for city council a while back, he was in there and Randall twice forgot to record it. And Frank accused Randall of doing it on purpose, and it was a big mess. And then Jerry didn't record it yesterday. And I went, oh, man, there
It
we
was an
go.
excellent, it was an excellent interview.
Was it?
Absolutely a really good
It
interview.
would have been a great one to be on the archives.
Yeah, I heard it, it was a good interview.
And so, well,
We
we,
need to automate that recording feature, so that.
that's, I got this
Always
guy, it's a radio engineer, that's volunteer.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, I know somebody, and how to work on it.
Actually, I talked to him. An idea for what we need.
And the last thing I think I got, well, two things, we still gotta replace the transmitter in the building 5 over there, or 6, whatever it is. Swap out that real old one for an emergency transmitter to be put in. And we are still working on getting a phone interface and make things a lot nicer on the phone. Instead of a speaker phone with a microphone over it. But, we tried one the other day, it worked sorta until it didn't.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah.
Will the new board give you the ability to talk back to the Conrex when you're on remote?
It has a capability, we haven't fully implemented it yet, because then we need to do some testing on it, because normally, it has the capability. I don't know if we've got it enabled yet, so.
It's got so many capabilities, we don't even know what it all does. But,
Is this a youth board? too?
No, it's-
brand new. Yeah, we thought it would just swap the little one out, put the big one in, and both are the same manufacturer, plug it in, play, it's gonna be great. No,
Not so much, it's so much newer than the old one, that as soon as the driver files were updated and too many things changed, and it was like a challenge to recover.
I know one thing, it is very,
Yeah.
yeah,
It actually turns on.
it's very sensitive. Our headphone amplifier started going out, and it was drawing power off the board. And as we couldn't figure out how come the needles were, unplug that thing and all of a sudden everything's just fine. Little things that we didn't see. I think we got a lot of them worked out, now it's just trying to figure out how we're gonna add things onto it. So, I mean, it's got a lot of capabilities that we never had before.
Yeah.
And I read the manual, and it's like way above my pay. So, anyway, that's my report.
Well, thank you, Butch. Marty, you have the technology report?
Sure, so we've updated the EAS unit at the studio, and soon we'll be updating the backup EAS alert device that we have up at the tower site. It's not in line yet, so it's not quite as critical, but the FCC and FEMA have a new code requirement that allows them to go over the internet to feed a signal and information directly into the emergency alert system, rather than relying on the normal relay of radio stations and weather, national weather stations that carry the same information. I think there were some security concerns, so for a while, the CAP, which is Common Alerting Protocol, that's disseminated through the FEMA alert portion of the emergency alert system. I think there were some security issues, so they had to require that all of the equipment manufacturers come up with a new code that they implemented now, and we've got that all updated, so that's good. Otherwise, really no significant FCC issues before us right now that are changing in the world of technology anyway for us. So I think I'll wrap it with that.
Thank you, Marty.
Mhm.
And next, our council liaison report from Denise.
Well, I really don't have a report, but, what we just talked about is anything that I can convey to council. So I'm not clear, are you gonna be there tonight?
Yep.
To the-
Well, hopefully, are we set up to do anything?
Well,
Have you-
No, I meant in terms of, giving any kind of report.
Oh, I just wanna talk to the council people about the open invitation.
Okay, well, I will say that, you
Okay,
know. But, anything else that you would like me to, convey to council, just let me know.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good start,
Okay,
but
and
we're
we'll see
kind
if we get any takers.
What's your email address in case we come across something and go, oh, this would be great?
Yeah, it's on the council site.
Okay,
Yeah, it's desires@osgov.com,
okay.
and it's SIERS. Sires like pliers, not sears.
nobody ever gets it right.
Nobody gets it right.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, thank you, Denise. And now we'll move on to the board members' report. Marty, do you have anything?
See, already talked about the quarterly issues and programs reporting. We've made some adjustments to our audio processing and on the link, the microwave link that goes from the studio up to the tower site. And I believe that's hopefully most, if not all, of the listener observations that had come in. I hesitate to consider them complaints because some of them are stations coming in great, but a few have been related to difficulty in reception. And I think that the adjustments that were made, I know that from my own additional driving around and listening under somewhat kind of worst case conditions. I've got one vehicle that I've taken the antenna off of so that it barely gets the signal, but I can tell when things are going to get really bad. And I've driven the whole area, and it's a very, I would consider the coverage that we're getting from the tower site is consistent and reasonably uniform over the city of Ocean Shores. I haven't spent a lot of time with the no antenna test up towards the north, but of course, the closer we get to the tower site, the stronger the signal would naturally become. I have not heard of any recent complaints of coverage. And I'm always open to listening, and if anybody has any observations they'd like to share, we certainly want to investigate them. I think one of the challenges that consumers have is because we moved the station from about halfway up the Ocean Shores Peninsula to several miles north of town, antennas that people may have had on their radios at home were aligned, if you will, to best pick up the signal in its old 91.3 location here in the city. And by the virtue of physically relocating the transmitter, adjustments need to be made. Sometimes the radio needs to be turned around, or the antenna needs to be changed from vertical to horizontal, or have a little bit better configuration than they used to have. And once those are addressed though, and we just discussed this with the folks over at the Hi-Fi music store here in town. Once we made some adjustments, and they made a couple of adjustments to their antenna inside their building, the reception was cleaned up, and they have no further issues with reception. But there was one condition that occurs there, and this can happen anywhere, is they have I believe it's a fluorescent light fixture. And when they turn that on, it just hashes out the portions of the FM band and pretty much wipes out the station. So they need to look into replacing that lighting fixture, and they're aware of it. It's very, they demonstrated it switch on and off made all the difference in the world. So that's something common to all listeners. And in fact, there is a very broad range of consumer devices that can cause interference to radio stations, even in the car. Cigarette lighter, or they call them accessory outlet now, USB connections. If you plug in an inexpensive inverter, a converter that takes the 12 volts and converts it down to the charging voltage of your portable device, and you plug your phone in, you can hear the noise floor under radio stations, oftentimes particularly pronounced on AM station reception, but it goes up into FM and even the TV bands and can cause this hash. So if you're having a reception problem in your vehicle, try unplugging your cigarette lighter. It might make a big difference. Other items that can cause those types of problems to consumers are light dimmers, fish tank heaters, because they turn on and turn off fairly randomly. And they hash, some of them throw out some terrible hash. Electric oftentimes cause interference. So these are things that we have to live within our environment, but are things that people can be aware of and resolve on their own just by changing the habits or the way they're set up. So I just wanted to share that as a note. I think that's all I've got for board member report.
Thank you, Marty. Okay, Daryl Kraus, what do you have?
Well, I haven't been to any meetings or done much of other stuff recently, although I did swing by at the Razor Clan Festival and saw the guys there doing remote, and that was kind of interesting. I am kind of intrigued about this idea about doing a public service, actually a show to bring in stuff, and if the person could do that remotely, maybe some of the requirements that you have to either learn how to run Audacity or know how to run it, and maybe they could just do it. I mean, I don't know if you can, if you have to come into the station. So if you're on Audacity.
You've got Audacity and a microphone, you can record at home and, yeah.
Cause I had to go down my cell phone, if I do a phone interview, it creates a file and I could bang that into there and just, we used to do that on Wazoo Nation and we would, one of us would announce, so we've got on the phone, we've got Joe Blow, and it would be recording, and then it sounded like we were live, but it didn't have to be.
If you're just talking, it's pretty simple. If you wanna do a playlist and do a podcast, a music show, it's a lot different.
No, it hasn't do anything, so it'd be no music at all, no.
Right, just talking, you can do it on your laptop, you can do it on your phone, you can do a lot of things. Although I do tell them, at least edit it, go over it, because now you're recording, it can be perfect.
Yeah,
It's not like live, where we screw up all the time live, but when you're recording it, you can go back.
Clean it up.
Clean it up,
yeah, it can be really nice.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's all I had, this one.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. Rosanna, do you have anything?
Yeah, along Daryl's line, the Razor Clan Festival, it's a couple weeks now, but it was a lot of fun. The kids loved the little red frisbees, and the weather was beautiful, but we had a glare on the glare screen. So I don't know if you heard about that, so it was between the contrast of the sun and then inside the shade. So we were talking and I was thinking, is there any way we can enlarge the fonts
Yeah,
that may?
oh, yeah.
We all were thinking about it and talking about it, but no one wanted to do it. Screwed up. And that can happen, right?
Yeah, just
So-
up the file or view up there, and then it's got font, you just click on it and you put what font you want, and it's still,
Or change the percentage of
yeah.
enlargement.
Yeah, we didn't wanna lose the
Yeah.
whole works of everything. That would probably really help unless you went out and got another glare screen.
Or what happened to that little screen?
It was on there. I thought the glare screens I'm used to are attached, so it looked like it was just kind of a silhouette or something, but it was really hard to see and the font is very small. So that would, really help. And it's just not random play. We did do that because it was difficult, but you know, some people do want requests and some people shuffle and some people don't need a certain tune, so that would help.
Yeah, well, some of the information I got that, well, we need F drive, you had F drive. We had the external drive there, you had the whole library there. Well, no, well, we didn't have those, yes, you did have those signs,
Right,
you know? You can make the cursor, the little mouse cursor, you can make that as big as you want too, so you can see.
right,
A lot of things you can do. We used to do that when we were doing it before.
okay.
Well, I can do
Well,
that.
we do it in the studio, so, yeah. Anything to go wrong.
No one talked to me about the font. I didn't hear anything about that.
Well, I looked at it, I said, can we enlarge the font? And then we kind of all looked at it and became afraid, so.
Or maybe you can make
Very
a
afraid.
cheat sheet for it or something, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
That's
thanks,
the thing.
thanks, Rosanna. Me, I don't have anything. Okay. The financial report, this was Sarah attached it, I think, somewhere. Or did she?
Yeah.
Yes. It's in here somewhere.
right here.
Okay. Oh, there it is, yeah. Anybody want to go over the financial report or just?
So donation, is that the sponsorship money that comes in, is that NBIM? Or did that come in from
What are you looking at, Dennis?
Second, under revenue.
revenue? Yeah.
Okay, radio station donations.
Yeah, that, a lot of that's under, underwriting. What else did we put in here? Most of that's underwriting from, NIMBM has been offsetting some of it by buying some of the equipment. Instead of going through the city, we've been purchasing the equipment.
Okay.
CBS is gonna be $200 a month, NIMBM's paying for that.
Well, that's, that's good to know to bring up in this meeting, to make that public, because otherwise people think that the city's paying for all this stuff. I think you need to toot your horn in this meeting more often.
We're talking about maybe even, we're looking at the expenses for the computer or for the turntable thing, one or the other, or both may come out of NIMBM. We don't know that yet, we gotta look at our finances on that, but we bought a lot, like, I just bought that amplifier headphones. NIMBM paid for that.
Well, yeah, it's try to make that more visible.
Yeah. But right now, we kind of hold the line a little bit until we see what LTAC's gonna do. Because we got two big, huge events coming up, one in August and.
Well, there's for the future, but as you go
Well,
along.
we got money in the bank now, but if we don't get the LTAC, we're gonna really need all that money we got
Sure.
sitting in the bank right now.
Well, like in the past, the stuff that you've done, I had no idea. Had no idea on the things you've
No,
done.
we gave, between us and KOSW doing the events and city council meetings last year, we donated over $17,000 to the general fund.
Could we, as the radio board, ask to have you guys at, North Beach, like, put a little periodic update out, maybe doesn't even have to be every month, but, particularly when funds are being specifically allocated, just to keep it so that everybody's aware that, oh, this new piece of equipment was funded by North Beach Independent Media. It didn't come directly from the city's coffers. I think that's a fair request. Does that kind of fill what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah, just an awareness that could be sent to us.
I like the idea, because I don't want the citizen thinking we're wasting all their taxpayer dollars on equipment.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say waste, to them it might be a waste, but not to us.
Right.
Okay, but a lot of that stuff comes from them.
Mhm.
That's the reason why we started the foundation to begin with. So if the money's not all going towards a tower rental, it's going towards equipment, whatever we're doing, we're saving our budget from the city money to be able to use for that.
I think that's really, really important for you to emphasize.
Yeah, especially for the council to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I did that once, but it probably.
Well, it's gonna have to be a repeated,
Mhm.
regular thing in an update fashion, like this last, again, it doesn't have to be every month, but something relatively regularly that can be presented, and whether it's presented in person or just submitted.
Yeah, I can certainly,
That could be.
Yeah,
a
either
report.
every day.
absolutely, I can do that, but, again, to kind of use the library analogy, they will often, in their monthly reports, talk about what the Friends of the Library is funded. That the Friends of the Library fund the programs, to keep saying that, to get the idea that, not everything is coming from the city. And I think that's important for the council as well as for the citizens to know that.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it so the budget that we get every year from the city side doesn't really change, right? I think it's averages about $7,500 a year, which is not a whole lot of money coming from taxpayers if you divide it up between all of the houses, right? It's a pretty minimal amount to keep the radio station on the air. For us, on our side, that doesn't include the radio tower rent, no, that's $3,300 a month for that, so obviously the $7,500 wouldn't go very far. But it pays our license fees, it pays our, BMIs, it pays our ASCAPs, it pays our sound exchange, it pays all those different fees that we have to pay. And then it leaves a little bit left over for some equipment, sometimes we buy it, so, but, yeah. The reason we started NIMBIM, or North Beach Independent Media, was because being a city entity, we can't fundraise as a radio station.
Right.
So, and we were tired of trying to figure out how to raise money, because all we were getting was the events that we do, which is like 3 or 4 a year, city council meetings, okay, so that all brings in probably around $6,000 a year on an average, okay? So all the rest of the stuff that we raise all comes from NIMBIM, or North Beach Independent Media.
Okay, do we have any, I don't think we have any old business.
Well, I had mentioned, that there was an item on.
Or do you want that on the new business?
Yeah, and a separate one for new business. So one of the old business items that we had discussed is, it would be appropriate. It's not an absolute requirement, but it would be very appropriate for, the station to be represented by a lawyer, for FCC matters. And I previously spoken, and I know I brought this up previously, that Keith Shipman, who's the president of the Washington State Association of Broadcasters, I spoke with him just a couple days ago, and he's recommended a particular lawyer who he's fairly young. He's been with a Washington DC firm for 5 years, post-graduation, and he's at Fletcher, Held, and Hildreth in Washington DC. But I don't know if there is a specific procedure that the city requires for a group to get a lawyer. Do they have, they have to send out a request for proposal to how many, or is this one of these situations where?
There is a procedure.
Okay.
In order for doing that.
Okay, well, we need to pull the ripcord on that and again, find out what the specs are. Do we have a specific number of attorneys that need to be approached to ask if they're even interested, or how that whole
Do
procedure?
they have to be an FCC attorney?
Well,
It helps, right?
it's almost required, and almost all non-commercial stations, even a lot of low-power FM stations, have used legal counsel for support, particularly when filings are going before the commission. You want to make sure that they kind of meet a format that the FCC likes to see. They'll also make sure that we're updated on the timing when different things become due. And it's not a huge burden to the stations, but there are additional steps that need to regularly occur in filings with the FCC that we didn't used to have to do with the LP status. So that's the thing that I wanted to bring up under old business. So what's the best way to?
How about if I get back to you?
Yeah,
on
that'd be
that?
fantastic. Okay, yeah,
Has anybody checked with, the Aberdeen stations to see if they have, a lawyer that they're using, or
Most of them do, yeah, I know.
maybe they can recommend somebody?
Bill Wolfenbarger, I don't know who he uses in particular. But there are a lot of, I mean, there are big firms that, I mean, I'm working with one group over in Yakima that, is a non-commercial. And they have, in this group, they have 2 tiers of lawyers. The top tier lawyers charges about $650 an hour. And the lower tier in this particular group charges somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 or something like that. So we want to find somebody that has the right proportional pricing available to us. But there is a wide variety out there, and it'd be appropriate to get one, find an attorney that is used to dealing with about the size of our operation. And there are some nuances to it too, because most non-commercial stations are owned by groups that typically own multiple radio stations. So they have that much greater of a call for having legal advice. But because we're owned by a municipality, that's a different set than, for instance, the Yakima group is, well, it's a subsidiary of CMAR. And they own radio station in Seattle and radio station in Yakima. And so we just need to find how this procedure will work and go from there. But there are a lot of things that are very specific to broadcast legal practice compared to general counsel. So.
May I go back to my report? I forgot something. The IT guy, Ryan, I don't remember Ryan's last name.
Larkin.
Larkin, he got a hold of me and says, well, first he was wanting to know about our phones, and I didn't know anything about the phones. But I says, I had a little trouble. Oh, I know what it was. Sarah sent them to me to have him contact me about going to GoDaddy, because our host pop-out contract is up in March. Okay, that's our web people, right? One of the reasons we want to go is because we're having trouble getting host pop-out, the service department, to help us out trying to get some things done on our website. And the main thing is getting the song titles on our stream. For 3 years now, we had no song titles when you stream on there. We're supposed to have it. Took Ryan about 3 hours and had it on there. And big kudos to Ryan for that. That was really something. We couldn't figure out. We kept thinking that host papa's gotta open a port, it's gotta do this. No, it was all there. He just knew the right places to click. Yeah.
Is he live here in Ocean Shores? No.
I believe so.
Does he really? Yeah.
But he was like a genius when he came in here. And now, I don't know if we're gonna go GoDaddy or not. I says, well, what's the deal with GoDaddy? He says, well, the problem when you switch like that, you can create a lot of problems on your website trying to transfer over from host papa to GoDaddy. A lot of things can go wrong in between there that we gotta figure out. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go to GoDaddy or not. We might just stay at host papa. As long as I got Ryan around to fix it for me, I'm in good shape.
He's
So-
great, we love him too.
Yeah, he is awesome.
Quick question, do you have the capability, or Trey, or do we have to go to Ryan? If we want to put another link on the website,
We need another link.
like to push somebody to another place, because we need to put a link on the site, if we don't have it already, that goes to the public file for the station. I can get the
We have
FCC
one,
address.
it's got an FCC.
Well, we have a folder. This is, and we can put it in that folder,
Okay.
but it's gonna be another link, like an icon link, that you just click on it and it takes you to the public file.
We'll do that.
You can do
I
that.
don't know if I can do it, but I'm pretty sure we can get it done. Either I
Okay.
get Ryan to do it or I can get Rooster to do it.
Okay, perfect.
You need a hyperlink as well.
Yeah,
I do pretty good for maintaining it, changing things in it, but when it gets into the guts of it, it's beyond my pay grade.
Okay, any new business?
yeah. So I'd like the radio board to consider opening up a discussion on changing the radio board meetings to bi-monthly rather than monthly. And it would be bi-monthly every 2 months under that term, because, you know, bi-monthly can mean twice a month or
Yeah.
every 2 months. But in this case, it would be every 2 months. On the fourth Tuesday of each month, as we are now, only it would be every 2 months. And that would commence after a vote of the board here. It doesn't have to be taken to the city council the way I read the bylaws. In the bylaws, the amended bylaws that we have before us now, which are still being worked on by the city. But Article 4 under meetings, it says the radio board shall determine a regular meeting time, that is time, place, and frequency as necessary for its meetings. So I'm pretty sure. As long as we're not. Yeah, we're not going into executive sessions or anything like that. We can still call meetings if there's a need for one in the meantime. And maybe it's just my perspective, but that's why I'd like to have an open discussion about it and then subsequently take it to a vote when we have a full sitting board, which will hopefully occur starting tonight. We'll keep our fingers crossed that the acceptance by the council occurs. That we, I just feel like most of our meetings are pretty empty. Not a lot that goes on. It might still be appropriate just for garnering feedback, but since the bylaws are being under review and unified by the city, we're not involved in that right now. The tower project is pretty much behind us. I don't know. It's just a point to discuss. If everybody feels like monthly is still totally appropriate, then so be it. But I'm just personally, I'm thinking how much attention it takes out of people's schedules and all.
Just gonna make the schedule work so you have a meeting in June.
Yeah, so what I thought was, what would happen is. So if we follow the standard calendar, the suggested the frequency is changed to bi-monthly intervals, so it'd be January and February, and the meeting would be on the fourth Tuesday of February. March and April, it'd be the fourth Tuesday of April. May would be May and June, and the fourth week of June. July and August, the fourth week of August. September, October, fourth Tuesday of October. And then in December, because everybody crashes into the fourth week is the Christmas and or New Year holiday period. So what I would recommend on that is rather than on the fourth Tuesday of December, hold it on the third Tuesday of December. That's like at the 15th or something like that, or the 17th this year. So those are kind of my thoughts that I wanted to express, and I don't know if we want to spend any time chatting about it now, or if we want to just hold it. I think maybe it's appropriate to go ahead and hold it for now, and we'll
You vote on it next
at their next regular meeting, because again, Patrick we'll hope that tonight the city council approves his addition to the board. We'll have a full board, then we can vote on a chairperson, and we can address things like this as a full council.
just for your information, the reason June's so important, that's the election of the officers. And it's in the bylaws.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I did have one question. If we do that, you think the meetings are gonna be longer and are we gonna have enough time? Do we have, how long do we have booked for the radio, for the library?
Well, it's usually at least 2 hours or so.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they
So
got, we got us to at least
Okay.
12 or
I
12
think it's a 2-hour block is what they usually book
For
for
this.
these meetings.
through the meetings.
Yeah.
There's a requirement that we can't meet, I believe it's no new business or something like that, can be brought up after 3 hours. So
Oh, wow.
if we ever extended out 2-3 hours, we'd probably suspend the meeting and.
Bring in lunch.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But again, that may be something that is being massaged in the bylaws, but, anyway, I wanted to put that out there and, just again, say thank you to Patrick for, being interested in joining the radio board and, we'll hope that tonight comes up with, adds a new person to our group.
Yeah, I'd like to move to put that on the agenda for next meeting.
yeah, we'll put that on the, as old business or?
It'd be fun.
Yeah, become a little business.
I'd like to get some feelings from the public to see what they think.
Sure.
You know, get some input.
Okay. Any more new? Oh, Go ahead, Butch.
Well, we started redoing our handbook like 4 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago. And actually, the city took over our handbook because we have to follow city guidelines, right? And we're having a little bit difficult on our end. And since even though we are an all-volunteer radio station and board, we are kind of a department of the city. Okay, so I'd like to know, probably Sarah, maybe you can check with Sarah about it, but can we just go by the city guidelines in their handbook, or do we have to have our own? Because it's been sitting there and Sarah's very busy, I understand that, and it's a lot of work to put that thing together. So I don't know what I'm proposing, if I'm proposing anything.
This is the operator's handbook for volunteers that
Volunteers
are
of the
working at the station. Yeah.
So this is not how to run something, but it's just like.
It's not a manual.
Procedure, or yeah.
It's a employee handbook. It's-
Like a code of conduct type thing?
Yeah, basically. And a lot of it follows the city guidelines. We have to follow, I mean, we're required to follow the city guidelines. In fact, one of the things that we got when we first looked at it was we were presented with the employee handbook from the city. Now, there's a lot of things in there that don't apply to us, and there's a lot of things that we could be added to it, but basically, we have to follow those guidelines.
Well, we had that committee.
Yeah,
And then,
but a lot of the things that the committee put in there, we couldn't do.
Yeah.
That's when Sarah took the handbook away, he says, no, you gotta follow the city guidelines for this and that and this and that. I started working on it, I says, Sarah, I can't do this, I'm not qualified to do this, so.
Okay, so what is it called?
It's it.
It was your old volunteer handbook?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, all right, I can ask her about.
I was just looking at it, sitting there.
Yeah, but I don't know why it's on.
Not your website, it's on the city's
City
website. Yeah.
Our handbook is non-void, you can't go by it, because it's all wrong, it's not even close to what the city's is. So they took and pretty much voided out our handbook. Because you gotta, Patrick, our history was up until right before COVID, we were pretty much a loose cannon out there, okay? We had our own bank account, we had our own bank cards, the city didn't pay much attention to us at all, we were just kind of floating out there. But as we grew, it got more important that the city decided to take control of the radio station, and thank God they did, basically. We were kind of just
Yeah, I saw
out
the
there.
files, I was looking through files for study, you can see where it shifted from the reports and under the city and.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Yeah, for a long time there, when I first started, we could do about anything we wanted, no one paid any attention to us. it was kind of wild west there at the station, but now it's pretty much under control, and we got guidelines now that we have to follow. Yeah, but we've grown by doing it, we have grown huge leaps since then, you know, it's been good. You know, we used to have our own budget, we never had worried about the city budget. Yeah, but, so, anyway, that's where we're at.
I've got an item, and again, I'm not quite sure who to address it to, but, I did notice that even this morning, on the city's, OS.gov, website, there are several references to KOSW as still being on 91.3. Even the city council regular meeting notice for tonight states that, the meetings are live on KOSW 91.3.
Yeah, I try to get
Somebody needs to do a global
Sandy takes it.
website.
And I talked to Sandy, she got some of them, but she didn't get all of them.
It's hard, the way they originally set up the website before Sandy and Sarah got control over it, it didn't. They had everything individualized instead of mirroring things and to where you change one and it'd change everywhere. So you have to go and change and find all the little nooks and crannies. And so bringing things up like that is fantastic. If you wanna email Sandy or email me and let us know like where you're finding those so that we can go in and change them. Cause if we don't know where it's at.
Yeah, Sandy Madison.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send it to her.
I see it once in a while on NBT too.
I've been trying to clean those up.
Well, 91.3 has been there a long time.
right?
You know,
I pulled all the old slides, I think.
I still got people calling me and going, how come I can't get your station anymore?
For your shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's actually on here, if you noticed, it's on the budget
Yeah, I saw
too.
that.
Oh, is it really?
It is, yeah.
Let's see.
So I don't know if that's part of your letterhead or not.
Oh, because of the logo.
Yeah.
On that budget, it lists little numbers like ordinances for each little section, like office supplies, things like that. I was trying to find those, where do you,
Bars numbers.
what?
They're the accounting numbers for the finance department.
So I can find that in the finance area.
That's where you'll find it in the budget.
Okay,
That's what tells you what department and
Okay.
like, whether it's office supplies or other different little things.
Yeah, and the new budgeting, the clerk book is very helpful.
I wanna see how those numbers are made up, I just wanna see the list.
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't know if we were still in new business or if we were in discussion.
I think we jumped into this.
I think we jumped into discussion. Any more discussion? Anybody have anything? Anything else? Okay, the next meeting is scheduled for April 23rd at 10:30 a.m. at the library. And if there's nothing else to cover, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Daryl?
May I have contact info so I can get back